Simple machines. A machine is any device that can help us to do our work faster and more conveniently. You must have come across and made use of many machines without knowing how they work. Man has always made machines to assist him to do his work at home, in farms, in industries, in hospitals, and for transportation, thereby saving his energy. Any device or arrangement that allows work to be done faster, neater, is referred to as what? As a machine. And basically, there are two categories of machines. We have the complex machines and the simple machines. Basically, there are two types of machines. We have the complex machines and the simple machines. Machines like broom, opener, wheelbarrow, nutcracker, claw hammer, your seesaw are referred to as simple machines, while machines like bulldozers, tractors, motorcycles, bicycles are referred to as complex machines because they are composed of many simple machines. Basically, we have 6 types of machines. I say again that there are basically 6 types of simple machines. Simple machines are grouped into 6 types, and they are the lever, the pulley, the wheel and axle, the inclined plane, the screw, and the wedge. I say again that we have 6 types of simple machines. We have the lever, we have the pulley, the wheel and axle, inclined plane, the screw, and the wedge are the 6 types of simple machines. Next, we'll look at the parts of simple machines. Note that the types and parts are not the same. For the parts, there are the pivot or fulcrum, the effort, and the load. While for the types, we have the lever, the pulley, the wheel and axle, the inclined plane, the screw, and the wedge. These are the 6 types of simple machines. Why any simple machine has 3 important parts. Again, any simple machines is composed of 3 important parts. And these parts are the pivot or the fulcrum, the effort, and the load. These are the 3 parts of simple machines. Now, for the pivot or fulcrum, it is a link between the effort and the load in a machine. The pivot or fulcrum, I say again, is the link between the effort and the load in a machine. While the effort is the part of the machine where force is applied to do the work in the machine. The effort is the part where force is applied to the machine. While the load is the resistance to be overcome by the effort. The load is the resistance to be overcome by the effort. Next, we'll look at the different types of simple machines. Now, the lever is any rigid body. A lever is any rigid body pivoted about a point called the fulcrum. A force effort is applied to one end and is used to overcome a force called the load at some other point. And we have 3 types of lever. We have the first class lever, second class lever, and the third class lever. A lever, again, is any rigid body pivoted about a point called the fulcrum. And again, we have 3 types of lever: the first class lever, second class lever, and the third class lever. Now, how do we differentiate between the types of lever? For the first class lever, the fulcrum is found between the load and the effort. For a first class lever, the fulcrum is found between the load and the effort. Machines like beam balance, seesaw, pair of scissors are good examples of first-class lever. Why second-class lever? These are levers having the load between the effort and the fulcrum. The load is found between the fulcrum and the effort. Wheelbarrow, pair of nutcracker, bottle top openers are good examples of second-class lever. While the third-class lever, these are levers in which the load and the effort are on the same side of the fulcrum, but the effort is nearer the pivot than the load. Knife, pen, a pair of forceps are good examples of third-class lever. So we are saying that a lever is any rigid body pivoted about a point called the fulcrum, and there are three types of levers. First-class lever examples, we have seesaw, pair of scissors, beam balance. We have second-class lever examples, we have the wheelbarrow, pair of nutcracker, and the opener. We have the third-class lever examples, we have the knife, the pen, and a pair of forceps. The wheelbarrow is an example of a second-class lever. You can see where the force is applied. The force is applied at the handles, and the load is found in between the effort and the fulcrum. Next, we look at a pulley system. A pulley is a small wheel with a groove around its rim. A pulley is an example of a simple machine. A pulley is a small wheel with a groove around its rim. In a pulley system, the effort is applied to the rope that passes over the pulley at one end, and the load is attached to the other end of it. The principle of pulley system is used to raise flags. Flags are raised up using the principle of the pulley system. Again, in cranes for loading and unloading work, and it can also be used for lifting loads to higher levels by builders. So the pulley is a small wheel with a groove around its rims. The principle of pulley system can be used in raising flags and also in cranes, which are used for loading and unloading work by builders. Next, we have the inclined plane. A heavy load is easily raised by rolling it gradually along an inclined plane than lifting it up at once. Barrels are often rolled up on gentle slopes so that little effort is required. The principle of machines for any useful work done is that both effort and load must cover a certain distance during the operation of the machine. So, an inclined plane is used to raise objects through a certain distance. Next, we have the wheel and axle. The wheel and axle are also examples of simple machines. Now, what is a wheel? Wheel and axle are another examples of simple machine. It has a disc with a large radius called the wheel. At the center of the wheel is an axle of smaller radius. Note, a rope is wound round the axle in many turns. One end of the rope is attached to the axle, and the free end is attached to the load. The effort is then applied to a handle attached to the wheel. Next, we have the screw. The screw is also an inclined plane wrapped round a cylinder. The spiral thread round the inclined plane is called the thread. The distance between successive threads is called a pitch. Note that the distance between successive screw threads is called a pitch. Now, when the screw head is turned round one complete revolution, the screw, which is the load, will move forward through a distance equal to the pitch. The screw jack is a common application of the screw. and a screw jack is used to raise cars and lorries by auto mechanics. Lastly, for the types of simple machines, we have the wedge. A wedge is a double inclined plane shaped like a V on solid piece of object. It enables us to do something we can't do with our own unaided strength. The knife, an axe, chisel are examples of wedge. So basically, we have said that machines are devices that allows us to do our work easily and conveniently. And there are three parts of machines. We have the load, the effort, and the fulcrum. And there are 6 types of machines: the lever, the pulley, the wheel and axle, an inclined plane, the screw, and the wedge are the 6 types of simple machines.